All right, let's dive right into this explainer by looking at a huge paradox of our modern age. Why is it that trying to move faster constantly leaves us feeling further behind? I mean, we all know that deeply exhausting feeling, right? You're racing against the clock, trying to juggle a million things at once, literally sprinting through your day. But somehow, when the sun goes down, the finish line feels even further away than when you first woke up. Today, we're going to unpack exactly why that happens, and more importantly, how to reverse it.
You see, in a world full of blinking screens, instant messages, and endless demands, we're constantly pushed to multitask. We are told over and over again that speed is the ultimate currency. Yet this frantic rushing actually creates the very bottlenecks that stall our progress. When we try to do way too much, way too fast, our brain creates massive traffic jams. We start dropping things, we make silly little mistakes, we have to go back and fix those mistakes, and suddenly our overall productivity just grinds to a completely frustrating halt.
To really understand the antidote to all this modern chaos, we have to look at a brilliant mantra from the U.S. Navy SEALs. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Now, I know that sounds deeply counterintuitive at first glance. We're talking about a group that operates in the absolute most high-stakes, time-compressed environments on Earth. Yet their guiding principle isn't about rushing into the fray. No, it's about the incredible precision and absolute clarity that only comes from, you guessed it, slowing down.
Act 1. The context. Papa's take on pace.
To kind of ground this elite military concept in everyday humanity, we can actually draw on the quiet wisdom of Papa's late father, Papa Q-Bear, and the deliberate, unhurried grace of his spouse, Colonel Debs. You see, they intuitively understood what the military knows to be a hard fact. Taking your time is a sign of deep intention. Picture a chaotic nighttime helicopter landing. Adrenaline is absolutely pumping, and the sensory overload is just massive. If soldiers sprint blindly out of that cramped space, someone's going to trip on their gear. That single misstep causes a pileup. So rushing doesn't just cost a few seconds in that scenario, it literally costs the entire mission.
So the crucial mechanism here is the pause. By taking a singular, deliberate breath to organize movement, a leader ensures the first person gets off the helicopter correctly. They're followed seamlessly by the second and then the third. Now sure, it might look significantly slower for those first 3 seconds, but because that movement is flawlessly smooth, it ultimately accelerates the entire operation.
Moving into Act 2, the tension. Taylorism versus the brain.
This profound human wisdom collides violently with our modern obsession with hyper-efficiency. A century ago, Frederick Winslow Taylor's idea of scientific management wrongly assumed humans were basically just factory machines, clanking gears to be relentlessly pushed by a stopwatch. But the modern slow movement pushes back against this tyranny of the clock. It prioritizes human mastery and calm, fluid intention over raw, panicked speed. Let's be real, treating our minds like rigid conveyor belts doesn't make us faster, it simply breaks us.
And get this, neuroscience completely debunks the stopwatch theory. 3 to 5, that is the absolute maximum number of items our working memory can actually hold at any given time. This biological limit exposes multitasking for what it really is, a dangerous illusion. When we try to force our brains to process 10 things at once, we actively degrade our cognitive performance. We aren't getting more done, folks. We're just doing everything much, much worse.
Think of the frantic card game spoons. I mean, if you've ever played it, you know exactly what I mean. The player who overloads their brain, trying to grab cards faster than their cognitive limit, gets hyper-focused and entirely loses their situational awareness. They're always the one who misses the spoon and loses the whole shebang. The winner? Well, they're almost always the calm, methodical player who moves at the speed of mastery, not panic.
Which brings us to Act 3, the connection. Everyday smoothness.
Mastery means truly knowing your personal limits. It's defined as the fastest speed at which you can execute a task without making mistakes under pressure. Take a Formula One champion like Lewis Hamilton. He can weave through a slalom course of cones much faster than you or I ever could. But even a world champion has to respect their own personal threshold for smoothness. If they push beyond it, they crash. You have to find your own threshold of mastery and absolutely refuse to be pushed past it.
This translates directly to your daily life. The exhausting anxiety of chasing inbox zero or rushing through uniformly compressed 15-minute meetings. That just leaves us with fragile work, full of bugs and careless errors. But when you completely abandon that anxiety, everything changes. A seasoned professional taking their time will craft a flawless, beautifully executed document in a fraction of the time it takes a panicked multitasker to write, fix, and rewrite a sloppy one.
Finally, this synthesis reclaiming our humanity.
To wrap up this explainer, let's synthesize these ideas into some actionable steps you can use to systematically clear out the mental noise. By adopting simple practices, you can completely change your trajectory. Try the 30-second reset. Just close your eyes, inhale for 4 seconds, exhale for 6. Commit to intentional single tasking. Before you jump into a project, pause to ask one clarifying question. What exactly am I trying to achieve here? And fiercely protect your screen-free time. These tiny, deliberate pauses transition your brain from reactive panic to clear, confident, and incredibly fast execution.
As Papa Q Bear would warmly remind us, true productivity isn't about running tirelessly on an endless hamster wheel. It's about moving with deep, grounded intention. As the philosopher Lao Tzu said, nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished. So I'll leave you with this final provocative thought to carry with you today. What incredible, flawless things could you accomplish if you simply permitted yourself to slow down?